How's it going, everybody? In this video, we're going to go ahead and deploy a second tenant. So we're going to have a multi-tenant environment, two customers, customer one, customer two. What we're going to go through is we're going to create a couple new VLANs that are going to be specific to a particular customer. We're going to associate some new VNIs, and we're going to go ahead and do basically all the configuration we've done up to this point. We're going to basically do in this video. So it's going to be kind of a circle back and review kind of video, and that's going to allow us to transition into things like VPC in the next video. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get this started. I'm going to go show you what we're going to go do. So here we have switch 9, and we have customer 2 VLAN 10, customer 2 VLAN 20. So we're going to go ahead and create two new VLANs, 210 and 220, appropriate for these particular setup. So let me go ahead and actually just adjust this real quick. This will be 210 and 220. Same thing here. These will be all updates when you finally download the lab or the topology file. This will all be there. So we're going to go ahead and create them on the Nexus 9K3 and 9K1 as well as switch 9. We're going to go ahead and get all this stuff squared away. And then what is going to end up happening is we're going to go through, create the VLAN, associate the VNI, do all of that configuration that we need to create a new VLAN for the layer 3 VNI, do all of that config in this video. Without any further ado, let's go ahead and dive into the config. So 9K1, we're going to go ahead and log in. And same thing with 9K3. I'm going to do it just because it's going to be easier to do it now than later, since we're right here. Alright, so I'm going to go to global config on this guy. I'm going to create VLAN 210, name it VLAN 210, and then we're going to specify VN segment is going to be 20010. Exit out, same thing, VLAN 220, name VLAN 220, and then VN segment is going to be 20,020. Alright, now that we have that in play, the next thing for us to go do is to create another layer 3 VNI, which in this case here is going to be VLAN, and we're going to use VLAN 200 because it makes sense. Name is going to be VLAN 200, and we're going to say VN segment is going to be 200 200. Exit out. We're also going to create VRF context. It's going to be cust2. The VNI we're going to associate to this guy is going to be 200 200. The RD is going to be auto. The address family IPv4 unicast will be route target auto both auto, and then EVPN. Take care of that. Then we're going to create interface VLAN 210. We're going to say member. We're going to say VRF member is going to be cust2. We're going to say IP address here will be 10.2.10.254/24, and the fabric forwarding mode will be Anycast gateway, and no shut it. We're going to do the same thing again for VLAN 220. VRF member is going to be customer 2. We're going to go ahead and put the IP address of 10.2.20.254. No, and fabric forwarding multi Anycast gateway, and then no shut it. Then we're going to go ahead and interface VLAN 200. VRF member is going to be cust2. We're going to say no shut, and then IP forward. There's that. Then we're going to go ahead and, so we'll just recap what we've done so far. We're going to do a show run VLAN. We've created the VLANs, right? We show run pipe section VRF. We've created our VRFs, right? All that's looking pretty good. The next thing for us to go do is we need to associate the VNIs to the NVE. So interface NVE1. We're going to type in member VNI 20010. MCAS group is going to be 224.1.1.2, and then hit the up arrow. 20,020 multicast group 224112. and then we're going to go ahead and say member VNI 200 associate VRF. So we have layer 3 VNI capabilities. That's that. Then we're going to go underneath router, or let's do EVPN. Underneath here, we're going to type in VNI 2010 L2. Underneath here, we're going to type in the RD is going to be auto. The route target, both will be auto. And exit out of that. Same thing with 20,000. We will go do this one here. RD will be auto. Route target will be auto. Get rid of that. So now we've got all that squared away. Then it'll be router BGP 65001, VRF cus2, address family IPv4 unicast, and then we're going to go ahead and say network 10.2.10.0/24 and 20/24. Exit out, and that should be everything. There shouldn't be any other config that we need to add in here in order for this to work the way we need it to. So if we were to do a show BGP L2 VPN EVPN, we're going to have a bunch of additional connections. We're going to see all that extra stuff in here. We have the VNIs aren't the layer 3 VNI is showing up right away, which is what we expect. What I'm going to go do is I'm going to configure the PC15. Let's go ahead and move him down here just a little bit so at least he's in the proper order. PC15, I'm going to say IP, in this case here, will be 10.2.10.15/24 to 10.2.10.254. And the same thing with 16, we're going to say IP will be, in this case here, 10.2.20.16/24 to 10.2.20.254. And then what I'm going to go do is on switch 9, I'm going to go ahead and say VLAN 210, name VLAN 210, and VLAN 220, name 220, and then we're going to put interface gig 0/2, switch port access VLAN 210, switch port mode of access, spanning tree port fast. And then interface gig 0/3, same thing. Except for this is going to be VLAN 210, switch port mode access, and spanning tree port fast. So then if I do this over here on this side here and do a show system internal L2 forwarder MAC, we should start to see MAC addresses starting to show up, which we do. We come over here to PC15 and I try to ping 10.2.10.254. I should be able to ping that, which I can. If I try to ping 10.2. Let's ping 10.2.20.254. I should be able to ping that as well. There it goes. Now, I won't be able to, because we're in different VRFs, remember that. So if I come back up to here and I hit the up arrow, we should see more MAC addresses coming in, right? We see the dynamic ones from port channel 1. And if I look at Nexus 9K3, show BGP L2 VPN EVPN, you're not going to see that stuff coming across. And you might ask yourself, why am I not seeing any of the other connections coming across? And the answer to that is because if we do a show run VLAN, we don't have any of those VLANs created. If we do a show run interface NVE1, we don't have any of those associations built. So what I can do is I can just replicate that information on 9K3. So that's what makes this option scale so beautifully, is that you can pick and choose where you want the information to sit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy and paste the config out of here. I'm going to do a quick show run, and I'm going to go all the way down to the bottom here. And what I'm going to go do is I'm going to grab Notepad, and we'll take out the commands that we need to have. So I'm going to just basically highlight everything, come all the way to the top here, and stop just shy of, too far. Nope, that wasn't far enough. Come up to the top here for the 9K1. I'm going to grab all this, I'm going to paste it in here, and I'll just start deleting what I don't need. So start from the top and work our way down. We don't need any of this. We don't need any of this. We don't need any of that. So I can get rid of these VLANs right here. I do need all of this. VLAN 200, 210, 220. I don't need this VRF because he's new. Go ahead and delete him. And then we don't need interface VLAN 10 or interface VLAN 1. We don't need, or this one. We do need, I don't need this one either. We do need VLAN 200. We do need VLAN 210. We do need VLAN 220. We don't need the port channel, but we do need the interface NVE, but we don't need this config right here. This isn't necessary. Anything that isn't necessary in order for this to work can get deleted. We can go ahead and get rid of this one as well. So that's good to go there. Then all this config right here is not necessary. We don't need any of this created. So we can go all the way down here at the bottom and get rid of all this. And we'll stop here at BGP. And BGP, we don't need any of this stuff right here. We can go ahead and schwack that. What we do need is the customer 2 stuff. We don't need this stuff right here for the EVPN. There we go. That's pretty much everything we need in order for this solution to work. So from the top down, we got our VLANs that we've created. We've created our VRF context. We've associated this to EVPN and to IPv4 unicast. We've associated our interface VLANs, got them squared away. We've associated the NVE interface, the BGP config, and the EVPN setup. And all of that is good to go. So I can literally just copy and paste all this into 9K3, go to global config, and paste. That'll take a couple of moments to put into play. Now we won't actually need to go through and verify any of this stuff. Well, technically, not really. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a show BGP L2 VPN EVPN. And what you're going to start to see is all the other stuff coming in that was set up. So we're going to do a show system internal, internal, L2 forwarder, MAC. And you can see that we are receiving information in, right? We're seeing 210 and 220 coming in from NVE here. If we hit the up arrow again, we should start to see this stuff coming across. And we do. We see 200, 210, or sorry, 20,010, 20,020. And then we also see the layer 3 VNI for that. So we have multi-tenancy at this point in time. And we have the propagation coming across. And that's really what we want to have. So that really gives us that upper level of scalability. Now, this is as far as I'm going to take this particular lab because we've got everything squared away where we need it to be. What I'm going to do in the next video is we're going to deploy VPC. We're going to deploy VPC on between 9K3 and 9K1. And what we're going to do is we're going to set up a VPC down to switch 8. We're going to set up a port channel that's going to come down from 9K1 and 9K3 down to switch 8. And then we're going to associate PC 17 and 19 to their appropriate VLANs and then get them connectivity to where they've got to go. Cool thing is once this is all done, this will allow us to take us into external connections and dive into how all that type of stuff works. So with that being said, everything that we needed to do is squared away at this point. We do have segmentation. We don't have routes being, so like for example, if I was to go back over here and say from PC 21, can we ping 10.2.10.15? And the answer should be no. We should not be able to reach that. And the answer to the reason why we won't be able to reach it is because it's in a different VRF. So if I was to look on 9K1 and do a show IP route VRF customer 1, I'm going to see what routes are available, right? And everything 10.1. Looking pretty good. Now if I hit the up arrow and do customer 2, I'm going to have a much smaller routing table because I don't have as many endpoints in customer 2's VRF as I do customer 1. But that's the beauty of this. It allows me to be multi-tenant in this type of a scenario. So keep these things in mind when you're looking at how data center networks are going to work. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much for stopping by and hanging out with me in this video, and I'll catch all of you guys in the next video.